This is my 2009 Nissan GTR, and I'm at Fluid Motorunion in Naperville, Illinois. And if you guys have been watching the channel for a bit, you know exactly what's about to go down.
Wait, what in the world is this?
Your car essentially has three modes, loud, louder, and loudest.
Now I'm also going to be visiting the tuning twins a little later in the video, so you could probably imagine what's going to happen there.
If it felt good before, it's going to feel really good now.
Let's see what I messed up. And so my Nissan GTR journey is about to get a whole lot crazier, and to be honest, it didn't really start off all that normal.
And that's because I bought my GTR from a dealer auction sight unseen. It sold cheap because of a few issues like a possibly bad transmission, but luckily I was able to fix the transmission for free. And just to make sure it worked properly, I had to test out launch control. Now the GTR is fast and working great, and there's no logical reason to do anything else, but a more efficient exhaust system, intake, and a larger fuel system is needed to stimulate the economy? Yeah, let's go with that and get right to work.
Now, as you guys could imagine, the guys here at Fluid are working on an insane custom exhaust system for the GTR. This is going to be a very unique setup that they haven't even done yet, so I'm very excited to see how this all unfolds. They are working on that right now, and I have to remove the front bumper to get to the intercoolers, so we're going to probably be bouncing back and forth a little bit on getting more air in and getting more air out. My first step is getting my totally mint condition front bumper off. And so I've already jacked up the car. It is on jack stands. Wheels need to come off. And yes, these are snow tires. Yes, they were mounted incorrectly when I got the car. That video got like a couple million views, and there were thousands of comments on the direction of the tires. With a lot of effort, I was able to correct that. And now we're taking them off again. These aren't long for the world. Both wheels off. Took all the clips out of this fender liner, so it should come off pretty easy. There we are, fender liner number 2. There we go. Then on each side we have some 10 mils. So the auction listed this panel gap here as damage, and it's just simply missing one of the bolts. You can see right there, it's supposed to go through. There's one here, and one here. It only had these two, that's it. So that's nice. Someone did part of the bumper removal job for me. Or was this thing in a horrible accident that didn't show up on the Carfax, and that's why there's Bondo right there and lots of other little blemishes. We're gonna find out. Next is this top plastic cover, and it's just held in by a bunch of clips, some of which, like that, are broken. All right. I should pull right off. What do we got for hardware now? More clips? More clips. It is a Nissan after all. I've removed the 5 clips up front. Ooh, and we're gonna get good access to these air filters so I can clean them. Now it's just a matter of pulling the bumper away gently, kind of lift up on it. Now, in theory, this should come right off. Yep, that's it. Wow, that was one of the easiest bumpers I've ever done. Thank you, Nissan. Sometimes removing the front bumper reveals all. So I know a lot of you guys had commented that maybe this was a wrecked car. It is a clean title, clean Carfax, no accidents GTR, but it is cosmetically a little bit rough, so we'll be able to kind of tell what's going on in here by taking a look at things like the frame rail and the brackets. Those look really nice. I don't see anything that was cut into or bent back into shape. Same on this side, looks dirty, but factory, that's good. And then just looking around at some of the bolts and the body, it all does look to be very, very original. All the brackets, the headlights aren't even cracked. And in a way, seeing stuff that's just a little grimy and dirty is a good thing. You know, it hasn't been cut up or touched. Oh yeah. Right behind the crash bar, that's beautiful. I think we're good, guys, but even if I found a crumpled up frame, I'm still keeping it. And here are the little factory intercoolers. These supposedly don't flow all the best, and it's a massive upgrade to replace these. And so let's replace these. All right, there were 2 more 10s for this air channel. And it should just pull right out like that. All right, these look pretty straightforward. I think we're gonna be reusing these rubber tubes. So let's start disconnecting them. There we go. Oh, and by the way, these are the new intercoolers that I'll be installing. They are much larger, much more efficient, should flow a lot more, and give us a gigantic increase in power and more consistently as well. So we'll be able to hit it over and over again and not have a reduction in timing because the intake air temperature is getting so high. Like right now, that's what my intake air temperature is with these factory intercoolers. It looks really hard to get to that clamp. I'm gonna remove this entire crash bar. That'll make life easier. Yeah, it's only 413s on each side. Oh, wow, yes. That makes a huge difference. And this thing is super, super light too. It's aluminum. It may or may not protect you in a crash, but those are just minor details. Look at this, I have all the room in the world now. That's all I needed to do. Oh, and pull it off, there we go. There's the driver's side. Okay. We are free from tubes. Now the top of each intercooler has two 12mm bolts, and I've loosened them all up, and they're coming out by hand, which is nice. There we go. 2 bolts per side on the bottom. Okay, that's out. Are you gonna fall on me now? Or am I missing something? I think it's being held in by hopes and dreams right now. I'll take it. This was pretty straightforward until I discovered that the intercooler has 2 more bolts in here. I have a wrench on one. You can't really get anything in there but a wrench. So one there, and 2 on the other side. And it's just like a quarter turn at a time. I was really happy with this whole procedure until now. I finally got 2 of the bolts out. Okay, that's it. Wow, these are the worst. Just the absolute worst ever. I mean, why? Why did they need so many fasteners? Every bolt that I got out, I was doing 10 push-ups, and every intercooler, I'm gonna do 20. I'm doing a push-up challenge with OJ, and today's the last day I have to do 400. So this challenge is over 30 days. It's 3,124 push-ups. It's a weird number, but it gets progressively harder as you go along. So yesterday I did 360, today's 400. It's insane, and I've completely lost count of how many I've done so far talking to you here. But if I do 20, that'll be 80 for today. I'm feeling it. All right, let's do another intercooler. Finally got the bottom one. I put a top one back in so this wouldn't crush me, but here we go. Intercooler's leaving. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the back end of the GTR? It looks so good, and it's one of the reasons why I think I'm gonna keep this car for a very long time, which is exactly what I wanna do with my hair, and Keeps can definitely help with that. So Keeps is a subscription service that makes treating male pattern baldness easy and affordable by keeping everything online, and it's as easy as a few drops on your head. It's super easy to get started, and everything is done online. No doctor's visits or trips to the pharmacy. Just click on my link below, answer a few basic questions, and you and a real doctor will come up with a game plan from the comfort of your own home. From there, Keeps is shipped automatically and discreetly to your door, and 2 out of 3 men by the age of 35 experience male pattern baldness, and you can do something about this right now. Keeps is your one-stop shop for anything men's hair loss related. They even have thickening shampoo, thickening conditioner. These are fantastic, and thickening pomade. I use this stuff all the time. And so this is what your shipment is going to look like when you get it in the mail. And most guys will start to see results in only 6 months. Now, individual results may vary, but the best part is if you guys want to get a killer deal on Keeps right now, all you have to do is click on my link down below or go to keeps.com/LegitStreetCars and claim your special offer. Big thanks to Keeps for sponsoring this video and for the free products. With the old intercoolers out, we are about to install the new AMS Street intercooler, and this is really cool. You can scan a QR code and have instructions right on your phone or tablet. That is awesome. But this looks pretty easy. We shouldn't have to cut or modify anything, and we are gonna be removing and replacing these with these. Because this is a 100% bolt-on like factory style piece, I still have these for, although they give me new bolts, I just ran them through so it'll be easier to get them to go. But pain in the butt, these bottom 4. But anyway, that snore here or there, that is not the right use of that phrase. This stuff is definitely here and there. Let's get this intercooler in anyway. Oh, these bolts are the worst. Oh, this is gonna look good though. All right, it's being held in. I've learned it's easier to get to these bolts from the bottom. You just have to jam something like a nice ratchet in between this plastic part. Getting these started with your fingers though, it stinks. You have to feed it in there. It's not fun. But now that I have them threaded in, I have the joy of turning the bolt just a little bit at a time. Yay. Next we have the air dam. So this is gonna channel air right into the intercooler core, and it should fit without any trimming. Yep, just sneaks right in, cool. All right, I guess it's time for me to take this off now. I put this on there so you don't damage the fins, and it's good to leave on during the installation until, well, yeah, absolutely have to take it off, which is about now. There we go. Next up, we have our intercooler piping, and they include a little adapter to slide into this factory hose. And then we need to install this 90-degree, and if you have some glass cleaner, that could help. Silicone spray, whatever. Okay, I think I got that on. Whew, it's a tight fit, but we'll slide it on all the way like that. All right, now we can turn this down. This will slide over like that. Whew. Next new intercooler pipe going in. All right, there's that. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit, but it did fit. So I'm gonna acquit. Yeah, I like to tighten these up by hand because you can break them with the impact. Driver's side tubes are done, and the Alpha AMS Street intercooler is complete. So you have to remove the front bumper to get the air filters off. It's a little ridiculous, and these are a little dirty, so let's go ahead and clean these. One clamp on each. Oh, this is so easy with no bumper. All right, we're just gonna run this with some hot water first. Oh, you can see everything coming off already. Always clean these from the inside. Sometimes water is all you need if it's not too bad. The air filters are all cleaned up and drying in the sun on my patina Chevy Express van. You know what? Before I go back together with the fender liners, I think we could do some cleaning. Look at the oil cooler. Clean yourself. Oh man, yeah, this thing was pretty dirty. Look at all that garbage coming out. All right, I mean, this wasn't really too dirty. It was protected, but this makes me feel good. All right, everything's cleaned up. This won't be the last time that the bumper is off though, because in the video after this one, we're doing a bunch of cosmetic work on the GTR, but let's get it back on for the time being. So here's our crash bar. Bumper foam, and finally the bumper. Bumper is complete. Intercooler is done. Where are you? Where are you? Can we even see it? No, yeah, a little. Gotta get up close. Look at, it's in there. And just like that, OJ's moved the GTR to a rack to get started on a totally insane custom exhaust system. You guys have seen what Fluid Motorunion can do in the fabrication department, and that's what they're gonna do to this car. But he's got some crazy tricks up his sleeve and some ideas for this exhaust system. So over the next couple of weeks, he'll get this done, and then I'll be back to see it. And you know, for some OJ Alex blasts down the road. Totally normal ones like this. One of the goals for the exhaust system was something unique and beautiful, as everything's been done on a GTR at this point, but luckily that's a given at Fluid Motorunion. My main goal was an exhaust that sounded so good it could even put a smile on OJ's face, as that's a difficult thing to do, as many of you have seen in our previous ride videos. Now, our first step for the GTR exhaust was removing the hacked up muffler shop special. We did this in the last episode, but in case you missed it, this is what we were working with.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
All right. Woo!
Good catch.
The guys needed a fresh start, so off it came, and next was the removal of the factory downpipes. From there, Cody and the fab department started measuring. Now, the saying goes, measure twice and cut once, but with custom exhaust systems at this level, you end up measuring a few hundred times. It's a trade that takes skill and patience, as after small sections are welded together, they need to be fitted on the car to ensure perfect fitment. The end result is a total work of art built by a talented tradesman, and as you're about to find out, this exhaust doesn't just look pretty. OJ uses science to carefully plan out each exhaust system for optimal performance and sound, and boy, oh boy, did they hit a home run with this one. All right, guys, it's 2 weeks later, and the GTR exhaust is complete over at Fluid Motorunion. I drove my CL65 because it does, you know, run and drive really well. You just can't go wide open throttle with it, which is something we can do in the GTR. So I'm so excited for this. So I'm gonna go see the completed exhaust for the first time. I told OJ, don't send me any pictures, nothing. I just saw, you know, the B-roll of it being fabricated, and now it's all together and complete, and we'll go for some blasts. It's gonna be awesome, but let's see, it's up in the air. Here we go, GTR exhaust. All right, I guess we'll just start in the back. Oh, get out of here. Dude, when did you guys get the Fluid Motorunion plaque thing? That's awesome. I've never had that before.
A little touch, a little touch.
Wow, look at that. That is fantastic. All right, I see a little bit of the trickery going on that you were talking about. This was some of the custom stuff that OJ was telling me he was gonna do, and I saw when they were fabricating it that we were getting an exhaust valve somewhere, and it is back here. So we have one muffler.
What is that all?
I highly doubt it. All right, let's keep going. Awesome, V-band, super easy to service, totally custom made mounting bracket. Are you kidding me? Look at that. And I did go with a catted system. I pretty much put cats on all of my cars now, especially the high performance cats, because they don't take up much power, and I don't want the car to smell, and it's emissions legal still. Dude, what size is this, OJ?
3.5.
Wow.
We were able to fit in here. Got a few other little tricks.
Wait, what in the world is this?
So I don't know if you've been following kind of the stuff we've been doing, and I don't know if I've used it on your car before.
You've never used that, but I have heard you talk about something. I forget what you call it.
Basically our megaphone.
Right.
I was trying to figure out how to get this in here and really what it would do on a GTR. A lot of the times it's just trial and error to see if it's going to change the tone. I think it made a little bit of a difference that people might pick up on.
All right.
I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So
cool, let's keep going here. This is really nice for flex in the exhaust. God, I mean, are we looking at these welds, guys? I mean, what in the world? Look at that. They're absolutely perfect. That is beautiful. Oh, and then there are the downpipes. Is that a, dude, look at that. We got another fluid plaque on there. That is so cool. And then for the downpipes, OJ, this material here, is that a heat shield?
a little bit of heat shielding.
Okay, yeah, and it looks super clean too. It's not like they've just wrapped it, you know, with something that's flopping around with, you know, with clamps and everything. I mean, this is just neat. It looks good, if anything. But wow, look at this. And I love the serviceability of this exhaust. It looks very easy, you know, to remove the entire thing. Oh, there it is. Wait, so what in the world is going on, OJ? Well, seriously, why? I don't even understand. Like,
well, I think this is going to be one of those times that we'll let the viewers try to figure out exactly what's going on. But let's just say your car essentially has 3 modes: loud, louder, and loudest.
Okay.
Or let's just say quiet, loud, and louder.
Okay.
We'll go that way.
All right.
That was kind of the idea here, just to give you something that you're not going to have problems with your O2 sensor setting, and if you need to run it through emissions, you'll be able to run it through emissions, but you get all the benefits of having a very free-flowing exhaust at the same time. So I think we kind of found a neat way to incorporate all of that while not sacrificing the tone or the quality of sound, you know?
so if you guys remember, this is what the old exhaust used to look like. It's kind of like they just went to Midas and said, lop everything off and MIG weld a bunch of aluminized pipe onto the car. I mean, that's basically what they did. In the last video, I said it was fiscally responsible. This person was just being fiscally responsible. They put the rest of the money into an IRA, OJ. That's what they did.
I don't know if you're going to sell me on that one.
Hopefully they invested the difference into a Roth IRA, which grows tax deferred. But on a GTR, this is much more fitting. I mean, this is fitting on like a $600,000 Lamborghini. It's so cool, and I cannot wait to hear the megaphone. OJ has talked about this a lot, and he has a ton of awesome exhaust videos where he explains how this all works. And of course, OJ's putting out a video on his Fluid Motorunion YouTube channel explaining even more in depth how they created this exhaust, why they chose certain parts in the exhaust, and how it all works to make this a very free-flowing yet functional GTR exhaust, something that people really haven't seen yet, because there are a lot of exhaust kits on the market for the GTR, nothing like this. So the only thing left on the exhaust is finalizing the tips, because I have to send this bumper out to get repainted, and I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do with the tip, so at some point we'll figure that out. Honestly, they look awesome as is. Yeah.
Gives you the size appropriation that most GTR owners run, but tips are whatever you want to
It's like a cosmetic, you know, type of thing. And the following video on the GTR is going to be a full cosmetic transformation, so we'll include that. But for now, before we do even more work to the GTR, we got to go for an OJ Alex blast, a leisurely cruise under 8th throttle the entire time. All right, here we go. First start for me of the GTR with the Fluid Motorunion exhaust. So he's going to start it up in quiet mode first. And that is very, very quiet. Wow, that's awesome. I love it. It basically sounds exactly like a stock GTR. So right now it's going through the one muffler, it's going through the catalytic converter, all that good stuff, no megaphone. That's really cool. Can you give it a little, just a little? That sounds really good though too. God, even in quiet mode, it sounds awesome. Get really close for you guys. Just perfect. Sweet. All right, now he's gonna switch it. Oh. Wow. No. You can, oh man, you can hear the turbo. You can hear the turbo so good. It's like the turbo is back. Oh, we never got that before with the old exhaust, and they had just lopped it off. So you'd have thought you'd get some turbo sound, but we got nothing. But now that we have these free-flowing downpipes and everything, and the megaphone, it's like a real deep, it's a V6, people. This is a V6. All right, let's do some more, OJ. That is awesome. And then it whistles down. Sweet, man. Dude, that is sweet. I love it, OJ. That's awesome, man.
And we're locked out right now, just at $5,000. So I want to hear this thing when we get up to 7 under load, you know?
Oh man, let's do it. Let's get to 7 under load. Fluid's always got the coolest stuff. That is a 2JZ powered Tacoma over there. And they work on pretty much everything else in the world. All right, so we're in here in quiet mode right now. And there's loud mode, which honestly in here, at idle especially, is totally fine. I might drive around like this a lot. All right, we'll leave it in loud mode. I was gonna say, OJ, I missed the old GTR the last couple weeks. I was driving this like all the time.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I put the Ford Taurus, well, the Ford Taurus is broken, so I was driving this. Yeah, even in loud mode, this is totally good. Like, there's no weird drone or anything.
I mean, it's pretty expected for what I typically give with the customers with these cars.
There's that awesome transmission. The reason I got this thing cheap is that beautifully non-broken transmission. Faster. Well, we got the intercooler and now this awesome exhaust.
Forgot about the intercoolers.
Yeah, no, this is great. I think I do feel or hear the megaphone a little bit. There's like a certain point where it sounds a lot different than I've been in a lot of other GTRs with exhaust.
Yeah, we were picking up on it, but it's still hard to hear it when you're just rubbing it up on.
Yeah, like, but it does give it like that deeper tone. It almost like, it's gonna sound weird, but it almost adds like a little V80-ness. I definitely invented a new word there. You know, sometimes you gotta give it some V80-ness. It's got that little like gurgle when you let off a little bit.
Definitely,
yeah.
Just the volume of the megaphone will enhance any burbles you hear.
Yeah. Sounds like a straight up like Formula One race car. Like,
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Okay, I know.
It definitely sounds a little different.
I get to say stuff like that. Okay, OJ can't. He actually works on stuff that's much more similar to Formula One than this. But well, I don't care. All right, to the general public, this is a Formula One race car right now. Man, that transmission is snappy.
Yeah, it is. Very responsive.
Yeah.
We're not even in R mode.
Oh yeah.
modified GTR, I highly recommend it. I got a lot of fast cars, but there's just something about this. It's probably the all-wheel drive system because it actually hooks.
They pull pretty hard.
Yeah, I have much higher horsepower cars, like the C63 is one of them, the turbo Trans Am and stuff, but like this thing just hooks like all the time. Not to mention we're on a 6-year-old snow tire, just to point that out.
We're not exceeding the speed limit, so.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Just getting up to it very quickly.
Oh, valve sounds. Guys, I don't know if I could ever physically not smile during like a blast like that. Like ever since I was a little kid, I remember my buddy Chris and his dad, they kind of like really got me into cars, and his dad had like North Star Cadillacs. And you know, if you've never been in a fast car, like my parents had literally a Ford Pinto and a 72 Skylark with
They were
rusted
300 horsepower for the time. I mean, that was a fast car.
Yeah,
in those
in
days.
the 90s. And like he had this North Star in the dual red cam. It was like VTEC was kicking in or a turbo was kicking in, and I would always just start dying laughing when he punched it, and I couldn't stop. I still can't stop. All right, we're gonna go to quiet mode now.
This will restrict flow, so I wouldn't
right.
recommend driving in this normally if you've got to do a pull, but I doubt you will be. See how it sounds like quiet mode?
Yeah. Big difference. Big difference. Very quiet. I don't know. Did it feel slower? I think it felt
It
slower.
felt a little slower.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
as I'd expect.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, by slower, I mean it still feels faster than it
yeah.
was with the last exhaust and without the aftermarket intercooler.
You got to drive this thing.
Okay, I will. Yes. Yeah, we need loud. All right, here we go, people. Here we go. My first ride with the exhaust and the intercooler. Just awesome.
That window open gives you a little more theater. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't hearing all that before.
Dude,
It's got a higher pitch.
Yeah.
Like, I can hear it now with the window down.
I can't wait to hear this thing from the outside, but you guys have been hearing it from the outside. How does it sound? And by the way, the chase car for our rolling clips today, CL65. It can't keep up because you can't go wide open throttle, but if you could, and that thing was making the power it's supposed to make, it would kind of keep up, like on a roll.
It should do the job.
Yeah, it's got potential as a chase car. Right now, it's just
The power
got
numbers
potential
are
as
there.
a broken car. Oh, yes! I love cars! Is it weird to not understand people that aren't into cars? Like, do you ever...
No, because a lot of my
don't know.
customers aren't into cars, so I can get where they're coming from, but not me. You know. You
Like, I know people that I'm really good friends with. It's kind of funny. Like when I was working at Mercedes, all my dealership mechanic friends became like, it was like our college years. They became like my best friends. You know this, working in the city and stuff.
Absolutely.
We actually worked at dealerships that were like 2 minutes away from each other. Never ran into each. He was BMW.
more or less
I was Mercedes.
doing the same thing.
At the exact same time. It was insane.
Weirdly enough.
But fate brought OJ and I together a few years
Somehow.
ago, somehow. But I would have friends that were Mercedes mechanics. They were phenomenal, not into cars. And I'm like at all. Like, it was just a job. And I'm like, I would take them for a ride in my Trans Am. I would launch it, trans brake. And be like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that's the weird part of the guys who professionally work on cars who were just like, whatever. That's
Yeah.
cool. You know, that is weird to me.
Then obviously we all know a lot of people that aren't into cars at all, professionally or whatever. But I'm still...
Which I was saying most of my customers, like just the regular
The
maintenance.
normal maintenance cars,
like-
yeah, that's right. So, I don't know. I'm not one of those guys. OJ's not one of those guys, and you know, that's all that matters.
It's hard to put your brain into their shoes.
I can't
when
do
you're
it, man.
This far into it, you know.
I have to pick something that I'm not into either, like someone that's like big into soccer. Like, no offense to soccer people, like I have a ton of family in Italy and they're soccer fanatics. I can't get into it.
Trying to relate on a subject
yeah, like
that
I'm
you
just,
don't know.
yeah. So when they're like, "Are you gonna watch like the World Cup?" I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even know." Like, I'm sorry.
Am I supposed to?
Yeah, and I'm like, "Are you gonna take a ride in my GTR?" They're like, "I don't care." I'm like, "All right, we're even." Oh, hey, you know what I kind of forgot about? We're on like a low boost setting.
Oh yeah.
I just pumped it up with the new
Yeah,
tune
with the tune.
from the Tuning Twins. was another 5 psi.
Yeah, that.
You can tell.
And you were short shifting.
Yo, for sure, yeah. Okay, so manual mode, you can't mess up. That was my fault. I didn't shift quick enough because we were starting
you
at first.
actually got a smile out of me because you bounced off the regulator finally.
You got a ton of smiles out of me today, and they're going to continue on. So, OJ, thank you once again for the most amazing exhaust in the entire world.
Again, thanks for the opportunity just to try to do something different on something I thought that everything's been done on, dude.
Definitely not. So as soon as we're done with all the mods, I will be back to give you a ride.
I can't wait, dude.
All right, cool.
All right, GTR is in good company back at Legit Street Quarters. So now that we are feeding this engine with more air, with a freer flowing and more efficient intercooler, and it has a phenomenal exhaust system that lets out all the exhaust, it's time to give it some more fuel. And my friends over at Cobb hooked me up with some 1300 cc fuel injectors. And so what that means is this intake has to come off again. I had it not too long ago to do the spark plugs, and I didn't while you're in there with bigger injectors. First step in replacing the fuel injectors is removing this Nissan Beauty cover, which is bolted in. You know, in regular Nissans, this is probably just clipped in. GTR. You need these bolts for all the horsepower. Holds it in. Next, we're going to remove the charge pipes that go to the throttle body. A couple of clamps on each side. All right, I pulled the vacuum off the blow-off valve. We'll disconnect this connector, this guy right here, and let's just pull this thing up and out of the way completely. Stay. Your next step is to retrieve the 7mm deep 3/8 socket that you totally dropped through that little hole right there. I had to remove this plastic piece. That's just part of the injector instructions. All right, that is back on. Another reason I love the muffin tins is all your bolts, you don't want to lose those. Put them in there. Passenger side intake is off, and I've just disconnected everything that's attached to this plenum. Any and all connectors, vacuum hoses, anything that's attached to it needs to come off, except for these coolant lines. We're gonna leave those on and just flop this intake out of the way. So now we just have a few 10mm bolts right down the middle. All right, with all of them removed, this should start to move. A little shimmy. Oh, forgot one. I loosened it. I didn't remove it. There we go. There we go. Just kind of do one of these, get it out of the way. And this is a fresh metal gasket that we can reuse. Hello, injectors. So few of you. Used to working on V8s and stuff. Sometimes V12s. Although let's not talk about that. All right, so here are the factory fuel injectors. This looks pretty easy to do. We just have a few bolts and we can pop up the rails. So we do have to go around and disconnect the connectors. All right, just like that. And also, before we get too ahead of ourselves, we need to get to the fuel pumps. And that's because Cobb sent out their AEM fuel pump kit for the GTR. So we're gonna be installing two 240 liter per hour pumps. And we just wanna make sure that there's no pressure in the line while we do the injectors, well, and eventually when we do these. So we're on the passenger side of the car, and they just have these little tabs that you turn. This is actually really nice. And then we can just pop this guy up. There we are. Doesn't look like it's ever been touched. And I'm gonna unplug this and unplug this right here. Get that out of the way. All right. And this car has been sitting for a while, so we don't have any built up pressure or anything. That's great. Injector harness is disconnected, and now we can go around. These are 12mm bolts that hold the rail in. And with all 4 of them removed, we can start to pop these up. Looks like there's no clip on the top, so that's okay. Pop the rail off the injector. There we are. All right, I'm gonna lose a little bit of fuel, normal, but we have a lot of room in here, so we don't even need to disconnect the rail completely from the fuel lines. We can just go around and remove injectors like that. Come on, little buddy, get out. I know you don't wanna leave. Been having too much fun in here. All right, these are some really nice looking injectors. I like the paint color, blue. Come on, little buddy, get out. Oh, some of these will be more stuck than others. I'll come back to you. You're not staying. I wouldn't want to leave either if I was a GTR injector. It's kind of a cool place to be. Oh, okay. Okay, you're out. Weak. These 2 are stragglers. Easy. Oh, okay, this is great. I wanted to show you guys this. See how the O-ring is not there? And that's because it's stuck inside, so we'll just use a pick to get it out. There we go. Oh, okay. Oh, it's gone. Oh, wait, no. It's right there. Okay. Come here, little buddy. Come on, GTR injector. I know you don't want to go anywhere. You're done sealing fuel. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Oh, did I get it? Did I get it? This should be some kind of carnival game right here. All right, GTR injector O-ring retrieval. I just want some kind of stuffed animal. You've been relieved of your duty. Okay, eventually those 2 injectors came out. Here are the new ones from Cobb, 1300cc. I don't know what the factory ones are, but good chance, you know, half or more than what these can flow. You guys know the next step, Mercedes-Benz sunroof grease. And we're gonna lubricate both sides here, both O-rings. And that way they just slide right in and they seal, no fuel leaks, no issues. With all the injectors installed in the intake manifold, we have a few adapter harnesses. These just have a different style connector, and Cobb includes these as well, and they just clip in like that. With all the connector extensions installed, we can just go around and make sure that the rail is nice and seated over the injector like that. You wanna do that before you start getting your mounting hardware back in. All right, everything's started by hand. We can zip these back in. There are actually 5 of these big bolts to hold the fuel rail down. I'm sure Nissan Maximas only have 4. GTR. Now, I remember the rivalry that the GTR and the Corvette Z06 had back when these came out, but you wanna know what they have in common? It's that the Chevy owners always have to respond to, it's just a Chevy. Nissan GTR owners probably get the same exact thing from like supercar people. It's just a Nissan. You're right. But they're like the best versions of those brands. I mean, for like power and speed and stuff, not necessarily reliability. That's where maybe an Altima or a Maxima would be better, maybe. All right, all the injector harnesses are plugged in, and now we can route the harness right back to how it was from the factory. There we go. All right, cool. This looks pretty good. You can hide the connectors nicely, tuck them in under the rail, and that's it. Your injectors are installed. Now just don't forget to put the intake manifold back on. We should do that. All right, gasket is all cleaned up. You can reuse this. They're very expensive. I replaced it last time, and if I could get the orientation right, that'd be great. Yes, and it was like $90. I'm not doing that again. We're good, it's metal. All right, so this is, quite frankly, the definition of install in reverse order. All right, so step 1 is plop down intake. Plop. Install intake bolts. Like that. Secure said intake bolts, but not too secure. We want to save the final securing for a torque wrench. So now we're torquing these to 13 Newton meters, not a whole lot. Next, we'll plug in a bunch of stuff. Don't forget all your vacuum lines too. Very nice. Then we just have our intake pipes to the throttle body. One on the passenger side and one on the driver's side. Clamps are tight, everything's plugged in. One last step here is our beauty cover that was beautifying our Ford G63 for a little bit. And you know the deal, sits right here, 4 bolts, and we're done. Now we're done with the fuel injectors, but we could not start this car even if the fuel pump lines weren't disconnected because we haven't uploaded a tune. So first, we're gonna do the gigantic fuel pumps, and then we need a tune because this car probably had half the amount of injector as we just installed or less. So if we fired it up right now, it would still be pulsing those injectors the same amount, thinking they were the factory size, and it would be dumping just way too much fuel. It probably wouldn't even start, but you would at the very least, you know, wash the cylinders and flood and get oil and fuel to mix and all sorts of bad things. You tune every single time you replace your fuel injectors with larger ones. All right, so back under the passenger seat, we have our fuel lines and our connectors disconnected. Now we just have a few 8mm. You know what, before we take all of these out, I'm just gonna clean a little bit here because once we pop this up, you could have this dirt and dust fall into the gas tank and you don't want that. So just give it a nice little cleaning here. There's a random piece of tape that was covering up that, our little sticker, Denso. All right, that is way better. Now we can remove our last screw. And with that, this little ring should come out. There we go. And this should be a 2-part system. We should have a top hat, and the bottom part in there is what houses the pumps. We're gonna be really gentle in pulling this out because we have our float and our sensor right there. And we don't wanna mess this arm up because you'll get a bad reading. There we go. Float is out safely. perfect. And I think we're gonna leave all this connected right now. And you definitely wanna run this pretty low on fuel, so there's like an 1/8 tank at most. The next part is by far the worst part of getting this assembly out. And there are no gloves that can save you here. You have to reach your hand deep into the depths of the gas tank to undo a clip, which I'll show you once I get it out. If you wear gloves, it's just gonna go right in. So yeah, here we go. Last time I had my hand inside of a fuel tank, it got stuck. My whole arm got stuck. Thank you, DeLorean. Oh, I think I got it. Yeah. Whew. Those are great sounds. Okay, so now the fuel pump assembly down there just slides forward. Okay, so let's just get this out and then I'll wash my hands. There she is. Get out. All right. There we go. This is like the Titanic. It looks like the Titanic. Well, or any other seaworthy vessel. We have 3 lines to disconnect. This one is obvious when we're going back together because it's a 90, but these 2 we could mess up. So this one's on the right side, so I'm just gonna carve an R for pirate. All right, that looks like an R, like a pirate taking over the sea vessel. I don't know why I'm thinking of pirates in the Titanic right now. Maybe it's the fumes? It's probably the fumes. And we're gonna use a little pocket screwdriver here. Come on now, I really wanna wash my hands and arm. Just get off, you bloody shallywinker. Sounds piratey. You're the pirate one, get off. There we go, haha. Got you. Goodbye, glad I marked you because that has gone into the depths of the tank. You know what, just in case that mark didn't turn out, I'm gonna do an L here for left or leprechaun. I got pirates and leprechauns. Totally normal parts of a GTR fuel pump installation. Yes. Leprechaun's gone. This one should be easy. Yes, those are out. This is all connected. All right, we have the Titanic or the Starship Enterprise. No, that's what this is. Look at that, it's even got the circle thing going on. I'm gonna go wash my hands and get some fresh air. All right, I'm back. I went outside for a little bit, got some air. I actually don't remember what just happened, but this is out, so that's good. So let's continue on with disassembly. Looks like we're gonna wanna pop this little guy off. And there's a few clips to get this cover off. Oh, and speaking of clips, this is the one I had to release inside the tank that was impossible to show you guys, but you pop this up and then this slides on a rail forward. We also have a sensor here we're gonna disconnect like that. Not entirely sure what this is, but I'd imagine fuel temperature. There we go. A couple of little screwdrivers and picks help. Okay. Should be it right there. So we're gonna remove this little hat. There we go. And there are the stock fuel pumps. All right, we're gonna pop this part out too. There we go. Now the bottom part of the boat goes away. And now we have full access to our fuel pumps. More clips to remove. So many clips. All right, this part is a pain in the butt to get these clips out. You gotta do them all basically at the same time. Ah, they keep on re-clicking on me. Stop it. No more re-clicks. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Gotcha. All right. The trick is to jam 3 different, oh, come on. 3 different screwdrivers in here. And then you do one with your nails. Oh, then the screwdriver comes out. And there are cylinder heads that aren't held in as well as these little tiny filters. Please. Okay. All right. Whew, got it. I don't know where my screwdriver went, but okay. There we go. Now we can kind of slide this pump out, and we have an electrical connector to disconnect. Where's that thing that flew away? Where's my tools? I really need my pick, and it flew over in this direction. Is it in a Ford PTU? No, it's right there. In between my box and my table. Oh no, don't you dare. And a coat hanger and a BMW, yeah, a little wheel cap. Okay, I need to clean. Yeah, there we go. That's why I needed my pick. Now, this fuel pump will slide out. And is it stock? Yeah, probably. Now, this is a beautiful thing, people. This is a kit for the GTR, so this should be a direct swap. You can see this looks identical. So I'll go ahead and remove this little red cap. And then I do believe we have to just transfer this guy over there. No big deal. Goodbye, old fuel pump. They also give you new O-rings in the kit so we can fish this guy out of here. There it is. It's actually not too bad, but we got new ones. So we'll slide this on here. All right. And in the kit, they also give you this for the O-ring, Super Lube. Never heard of that. I mean, I'm more of a Mercedes-Benz sunroof grease type of guy, but I'll go with the Super Lube. There we go. And just around the O-ring, like so. And now we can simply slide this guy back in place. Oh, nice seal right there. Good factory click. Guys, a lot of times with aftermarket stuff, it can just be a pain in the butt. Sometimes they say it's like a direct bolt in and then you have to do like 12 other things. This so far is definitely a direct bolt in. Good job, Cobb. And we will repeat what we just did on the other side. Connector, pump popping out. Old O-ring, transfer white clip, install new O-ring. The world's most super lube ever. Super lube. Excellent. Reinstall. Nice, cool sounds like that. We'll remove these little caps on the other end. Goodbye. And now we can slide these things back on. Just like that. I take a lot of pictures so we know proper orientation, just saves time later. But this is also the Starship Enterprise, or would it be this way, that thing on the top? I don't know. Lots of spaceship stuff going on here. The GTR may have predicted the future on what space travel will look like, or they just watched Star Trek and designed all their parts around that. There we go. We're gonna reinstall the boat, and I'm just gonna give it just a little cleaning. Wasn't really that bad in here, but why not? Much better. Oh, and guys, you can replace these socks if you want. A lot of cars don't even have these. They're in great shape, so don't worry about it if you didn't buy them. Now let's see, how did this guy go? It was like that. Make sure nothing's getting pinched, and we'll go down. There we go. Nice. Before we clip this in, Nissan had these wires nicely ran in here, so I'm gonna put these back in one by one. All right, those are being held in. Now we can put this cap back on. Line up your clips, and we'll slide this down. Bam. We have our fuel sensor. We have this blue clip here. Bam. All right, is that it? Are we done? Is that really it? Yeah, that's everything. That was actually really easy and fun. And so was the intercooler. I mean, obviously OJ did the exhaust, but the injectors were easy. Guys, if you own a GTR, even if you don't have much wrenching experience, there are a lot of modifications you can do yourself. I'm gonna show you here in a minute. I'm gonna be uploading the tune as well, which is no big deal. I'm not tuning it, someone else is, but yeah. You guys can do this. You can have like your own 600-ish wheel horsepower GTR and do most of the mods yourself. You can do it. We're back. We're back in the car. All right, I'm not gonna lose it or anything like it did last time. It'll be fine. Just trying to find these wires. Not wires. They're fuel hoses. There they are. Okay. All right. Here's our 90 degree. It's like a spider web of fuel hoses. Here's my marking. All right, here we go. Here's left. This is L, which stands for loser. Anyone who races this GTR will lose. There we go. And here's R. I didn't know how to spell R, but there you go. And that's R for Robert. It's up to all the Roberts out there. There we go. And this one is just a no name. Didn't have to label it because it's got a 90 degree on there. So this is for all the people out there that don't feel heard. Something about what I'm talking about. All right, now that that's in, we can kind of do a little one of these. Can definitely be a little song and dance though. Gotta be careful. There you go, you're good. Just leave it open like this, you're fine. Just kidding. There we go. See you. Now I have to slide this thing on a rail. That's gonna be tough. Oh, by hard I mean super easy. Just slid right in. I think the hard part's gonna get it to click in. Come on. You have to like push this thing far back and the clip won't click. Clip and click, clip, clip. Say that fast once. Come on. Let's go. Oh, it just clicked. Oh my gosh, okay. The boat is secure. Excellent. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah, this is why there's no point in wearing gloves, okay? And I also recommend that you guys don't do this with any fuel in the tank at all. There are better ways. Next up is the top hat, which I cleaned up. And we just wanna push some of these hoses back in. All right, and we wanna get this float in there first like that. Then we can twist some of these hoses in, lay them gently into the fuel. And yeah, these point that way. Make sure your O-ring is still in place. And it should slide right in. Right about there. I've slid on our cleaned up black ring, and just make sure before you bolt this all together that your blue seal is still in there. All right, I've got all the screws in, just going around tightening them. It is better to just use a Phillips screwdriver. These things are so small. Wouldn't want to see you guys break them using an impact and an 8 mil. Next, we'll just get our fuel lines back on. And they give you this cool sticker that I'm going to place right here. There we go. Not that I'm ever going to sell this car, but if I ever did, someone would know that it's got aftermarket fuel pumps. And now just a couple of electrical connectors. There's that. All right. And then my favorite clips in the world. And with those all done, congratulations. You've just installed 2 fuel pumps in your GTR that had 2 fuel pumps, bigger fuel pumps. It's now time for the tune. So we'll turn our ignition on and we'll go to my car, program ECU, engine, and the tuning twins already sent this to my ECU tech or ECU tech or however you want to say it, 1300 cc injectors. So we're going to click on that. Engine on, handbrake engaged. Don't know if you really have to do that. Doors are closed, air conditioning off. And then especially if you have a Canadian car whose headlights are stuck on all the time, it's good to get a charger. And look at this, good headlight, bad headlight. Gotta replace that one. It's just the bulb in there. All right, now we can hit program. Erase in memory, your fan might kick on, and writing memory. It'll never remember those factory injectors again. Kind of feel like I should have saved that tune just to upload it every once in a while and like, remember these? All right, we're almost done on the tune. Oh, and remember this aftermarket radio that I thought was installed crooked? It's really not. See, it's actually installed perfectly level. It's just from here, it doesn't look that way. Hang on a second, I'm missing steps. Please turn ignition off and back on. We are good. All right, so now we can start the car. Normal when you get fresh injectors in there. Fuel rail was empty, but yeah, it's running good. And you can tell right away, it probably wouldn't have started on the other tune because of the injectors and all that. Yeah, the tuning twins are great. This is awesome. God, look at GTR cold oil pressure. It gets up there like 80. Anyway, it's idling down now. Oh, and check this out. That's the level of fuel that I had, and I still was like submerging half my arm in fuel, so you might want to run this out even more, like to where it's almost out of gas, or you can use the return line and the fuel pumps and really get all of it. But she's good, running beautifully. All right, let's hit the road and go to AMS. All right, we're almost at AMS. Car's running great. Sounding great. This thing is just so good. It's like so repeatable. Love it. And I drive around in manual mode all the time. I just pretend it's a stick shift. AMS! All right, we're pulling right in. What's up, dude?
What's up, dude?
Sounds a little different, right?
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Pretty bad.
All right, not that I'm gonna be able to impress these guys at all. They work on stuff like this.
Give it some revs. That sounds awesome, dude. Holy cow, what'd you do to it?
A lot. Actually, OJ at Fluid Motorunion and the team over there did it all, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got multiple valves. It's got a megaphone, which is like their own kind of
like an expansion chamber almost?
Oh,
exactly. Cool.
Yeah. So you can actually hear the turbo now, even just at low RPM.
Yeah, that's like most of what you can hear is just the turbo whistle. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It sounds great, dude.
The bass tune on the 1300 and all the mods is awesome. I sent you a log, but it runs perfect.
Oh, killer. I was going to say, he said you were ripping on it. I'm like, oh, I hope he was logging it.
I was. No, that was why I was ripping on it.
Dude, those tips are ginormous.
Yeah, so the tips aren't final. I like stock stuff, so I might go back to stock if it works. We'll see.
Dude, that's awesome. Oh, he's got his badge. He's got a badge on there too.
Oh, there's multiple plaques on there. It's awesome.
So anybody who's like trying to figure out what is done to that thing, they say, oh, Fluid Motorunion, Fluid Motorunion.
Right.
That's killer. Intercoolers on it, injectors are in it, fuel pumps are in it.
It's all done.
Dude, killer. That's awesome. Okay, Alex, so I did show you a few different things like map switching. Map 4 is going to be your high, like race map. But one thing I forgot to show you here is that you can set your boost in each gear. And actually right now in your high race map, you're only at about 0.8 bar, just like 12 PSI. We can crank that baby up.
So
and now if it felt good before, it's going to feel really good now.
Well, now that we have the full exhaust and the intercooler, like what would be a normal amount of max boost to run?
So on a GTR, you're going to be in like low 20s, like peak boost, and it'll taper off by redline because you're limited by the stock turbos. But
so hold on. So I've been used to like 10 to 12.
Yep.
And we're going to go to like 20?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
You're going to see the factory boost gauge is going to peg.
I thought it was fast already. That's awesome. And then once you guys do the E85 and flex fuel stuff, it's still probably about the same.
Roughly the same amount of boost. I mean, it's basically ignition timing and fueling at that point, and you're unleashing all the potential. Because you're just limited by pump gas in these things. I mean, at pump gas, 620 horsepower, but E85 is going to get you closer to like ellipse and almost 700.
Get out.
Yep.
And we just got to keep the torque low to save the engine, essentially, right?
Yep.
Is that the deal?
Yep, we keep the torque at about 600 foot-pounds, so you still meet the same amount of peak torque as pump gas, but you can make way more high-end horsepower on the 85.
Okay. Wait, let me ask you something. I've been driving this thing in manual mode a lot. I just like being in control because I feel like it just, I don't know. It upshifts like all the time, and I'm like, I just like keeping it. Like if I'm cruising down like a suburb road at 40, like I don't mind being in fourth or maybe fifth, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of GTR guys do that? Like use manual mode like all the time?
Honestly, the only time I drive them in auto is the first like trip around the block, and then it's manual.
Okay, all
like
right, so I'm not
that's how
worried.
I drive it all the time.
All right, cool. It looks like we're at maximum boost right now. Oh, you turned that in. So hold on, is that already in?
So that's going to set the peak boost level, and we set a boost curve in the tune. So what that will do, if we have a peak of like 22 psi, that'll bring that peak down to whatever you have set in there.
But since you did it, it's already it's going to do it.
No, it's right away. As soon as you slide that, and yeah,
Okay.
it's done.
Should
It's
I
ready to
turn
go.
it down a little?
No.
No.
Why would you ever turn the boost down? This is driving great on the base map.
Yeah, it's great.
And then before we make a poll, make sure you data log so Jake doesn't get mad. No.
Oh, right.
Jake will be doing most of the revisions on this car. So far, this is like not bad at all. It's surprisingly how deep of a note it is.
Yeah.
Like for like a stock turbo car that isn't like as open free flowing of turbines.
Right. Yeah, they really got the sound down. Like it gives it a deeper sound, but it's not like annoying or loud really when you're cruising. You know.
When you throw it in the modes like this,
Right.
you know you're ready for business.
The old Vulcan death grip.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring her down at first here. I think a boost pipe just blew off because I saw the hood move.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh no.
Huh.
Well, that was more boost than you were running before, so.
Way more boost. Yeah, I guess.
Oh, it sounded great for the.
The weakest link popped off.
It sounded great for the like half a second.
Huh.
All right, let's check this out. Good thing it's speed density, because if it was math, this thing wouldn't want to run at all. Oh, this brings me back. Blowing boost pipes, pulling over.
All right, let's see what I messed up. Yeah, right there. But man, I tightened that by hand. I'm telling you, this won't go back on because this clamp is tight. Yeah, see?
Oh yeah,
see? I tightened this. I guess I needed to tighten it some more, replace the clamp. I don't know, but we just gave it like double the amount of boost, so yeah.
So the trick is to actually put hairspray on the inside of the coupler.
Yeah.
And then tighten it down.
Oh, yeah.
Like we used to use Aquanet back in the day, like super high hold hairspray. You know, like for like doing like
Mohawks.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That's the best stuff. Spray
Yeah.
it on there, it'll never come back off.
I used to do that in my Trans Am all the time, but man, this even has like a little rib on the throttle body. See that? She's making all the power. All right, this is like the drive of shame for me. No one's gonna believe me that I tightened that thing. I don't think I even put it in the video, but I did.
There's no evidence.
There's no evidence it didn't happen. We're back at the shop. This tool is not gonna do it. Like I tighten it way more than you can tighten it with this.
I can get you a ratchet.
Just gotta put more muscle into it. A ratchet would, yeah, that's what I did. I used a ratchet. All right. See, it goes on. All right, let me tighten it down. Here's a little quarter drive ratchet. I used a 3/8 too. Like, there's no way. One more. Ugh. Okay, this is as tight as it can get. Okay, I'm just retightening all these. 20 pounds, no problem now. Now, you know I'm double checking it all. These are tight. That's good. All right, take two.
It is pretty crazy that I can just like lift off a little bit for just like cruising, and it's like super quiet.
Yeah, in loud.
And that's that
in
in the loud mode.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. It's
Yeah.
already like quiet when you want it, loud when you want it.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's gonna have an old man button, you know.
Exactly. Like I haven't used quiet mode. You know, I used it a couple times, like when I left really early in the morning, but because cold start's a little louder. But
Yeah.
that's it. All right.
I'll
no
just do
blowing
second gear
up
this time.
All right.
All right, you ready? Wow.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't have that like crazy rasp that I don't like on the stock turbo cars.
Yeah.
It just sounds clean and smooth all the way up.
I'm telling you, I think it's that megaphone.
Wow.
That's why they use it a lot. Like he's done that on like Lamborghinis and stuff. And
Yeah, it gets rid of that like unwanted like
tingy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the only time I've ever heard a stock GTR with like an exhaust that's this straight through
Yeah.
that didn't sound that bad. That's awesome.
This thing is fast. I was trying to hold the camera to show you guys the boost gauge to see if it pegged out. I honestly couldn't even tell you what it did.
And the coupler stayed on.
The coupler stayed on. I did a good job.
So
And,
you definitely didn't tighten it before.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever. Great job on the tune, though.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of data to start off with the previous tuning on like the stock injectors, stock pumps. So, you know, it kind of tells us what the car is really going to want. And then it's a matter of like plunking in the injector data. And then once we do the flex, so it's going to be a whole nother animal, like I swear.
Gosh. So what do you think the horsepower difference is from the car right now on 93 and this type of tune, since it's not like a full max tune? And then what it's going to be after we're done with the dyno and E85 and all that?
So the typical gains from like a good running 93 octane pump gas GTR to flex fuel, it's like another 50 horsepower. Wow. And it's all up top too. So where it's like you kind of almost feel it like nosing over a little bit up top, it's just gonna be a whole other animal up there.
And that's mostly because up top, normally you have to start worrying about ignition timing and reducing that for knock and
when you're
stuff.
when you're really pushing on the turbos, pump gas hate back pressure, where the 85 is kind of like the cure for that.
Yeah.
And when I talk back pressure, it's just like the CL, where it's like I'm talking pre-turbine.
Right.
We took care of everything post-turbine.
Exactly.
Literally with the exhaust.
All right, guys, so in the next video, you guys are gonna see what they have up their sleeve. They are using my car for the next 2 or 3 weeks as a guinea pig to develop a flex fuel system that's just like the whole kit and caboodle, because if you wanna do flex fuel now, you gotta hijack inputs.
Yep, so on a GTR, there are no available inputs anymore to use for tuning for flex fuel or adding additional sensors. So we're developing a CAN bus network box, which is basically going to interface and send the information directly to the ECU from the flex fuel sensor or anything else we want to add. We're going to use that to be able to put this thing on full 85, full flex fuel. It's going to make another 50 horsepower. And it's going to be an all-in-one kit. So yeah, we're using this to develop on. We're going to make it just like AMS does on everything else. Full instructions, full kit, one-stop shop.
Yeah, so eventually you guys will be able to order this kit, and it's being developed on my GTR. So anyway, that's how we're going to kick off the next video, and a ton of other stuff in that one. This thing is going to undergo quite the transformation. I ordered fully forged wheels like 2 months ago. We have a new steering wheel, bodywork, horsepower, dyno, tuning twins, just everything. So I hope you guys tune in for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Share the video with your friends. Subscribe if for some crazy reason you haven't already. Most importantly, have an awesome day. I'll see you guys next time, and then a few videos from now right here with the Tuning Twins and AMS. See you guys. Max, enter clips of stuff that's about to go down, which hasn't gone down yet, because we're in the past. Literally nothing's gone down but me driving here today, and I just jacked the car up. So it's actually gone up and not down. Nothing has gone down, but it will. We're also gonna be visiting the Tuning Twins, so you could probably, Oh, and if you guys saw the reveal video, they had the direction on the tire. If you guys saw the reveal video, they had the front tires swapped, so the direction, the rotation. If you guys saw the reveal video, that's a really cool car ruining my scene right now. Sounds pretty good. I accept that scene ruining. There we go. Now the top of each intercooler. Now the top of each, focus, enhance. It enhanced. And they have their thickening conditioner as well, and thickening pomade. So this is gonna make your car. Okay. This camera's in the way. Get out of my way, camera. Lost the momentum.